Hello friends and my dear students, I welcome you all to my channel. I hope you are all well and your studies are also going on well. Uh, this is part 3 video on the chapter of compound interest where I will discuss about the very fundamentals of how a compound interest is calculated based on the given principal rate of interest per annum and uh, how the interests are compounded. That is, whether it is compounded yearly, annually, or half yearly, or quarterly, or let's say compounded at every n after every n months, where n is some number of months, like 4 months, 3 months, 7 months, like that. So even though this thumbnail is titled the formulas of compound interest, I will not discuss anything about the formulas of compound interest. I will do that from the next video. I think it is very essential to understand how actually the compound interest is calculated. Then you will understand how the formulas have been derived from the very fundamentals. So this video is part of the playlist CBSE Maths for Class 8 following the textbook of author R.S. Aggarwal. If you are new to my channel or not yet subscribed, and if you are watching my videos for the first time or visited my channel for the first time and my videos are beneficial to you, then I strongly suggest and request that you please support me by subscribing to my channel, and also do not forget to press the bell icon so that you will be notified by my future videos. So let's get started with this video. Okay, so in this video I will do some do some discussion about the very fundamentals of how compound interests are calculated. So there are no problem solving. I will not really do any kind of problem solving. I will do that from the next video. Okay. So to understand, I'm sorry, I was doing a little bit of rough work. Let me delete all the stuff. So before discussing about all the formulas that we will eventually learn and study regarding calculating compound interest for various use cases, that is whether formula for calculating the calculating the amount when the interest is compounded yearly or half yearly or quarterly. Before discussing the formulas, let's understand how actually the compound interest calculation of compound interest works. So the fundamental concept is that you have you have a unit of time. So basically what you have is the main input are principal. The main input for calculating the compound interest or the amount is you have a original principal, that is P. This is original principal. This is original principal. You have the rate of interest, which is per annum. Always this rate of interest will be given per annum. So rate of interest per annum. So these are the fundamental inputs of any problem for computing the amount of compound interest. You have time. This is always in years. Now this can be a numerical, it can be an integer, or it can also be a fraction, like 2.5 years, like 2 and 3 by 5 years. 4, it can be a mixed fraction, that is this t will not always be an integer, it can also have some fractional part. And we need there are 4 parameters, and we need u. This is the unit of time. Unit of time, usually in months. This is given in months. We will consider that the u is in months and t is in years. And we have R%, that is the rate of interest per annum, and we have the original principal. So these are the main inputs of calculating the compound interest. Okay. Now Uh, so based on these parameters, if we are asked what will be the uh, uh, so 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 how it works, we start from the original principle. We start from the original principle. This is P. Then after let's say first unit of time. Now this first unit of time means this unit of time could be 6 months, it could be 12 months, it could be 4 months, 7 months, it could be any number of months. So this means that if the unit u is let's say 6 months, then after first unit of time, I mean after 6 months. So after 6 months, I have to calculate the interest. I have to calculate the interest based on the current principal, which is P. We start with the original principle. This will after the first unit of time, the current principal will be P, that is the original principal. We calculate the interest I. Let's say after the first unit of interval, first unit of time, the interest calculated is I1. What this will be? This will be R dash P by 100. This will be R dash P by 100. Actually, this there will be another there is another factor in the denominator, which is 1. Why 1? Since we are calculating the interest after 1 unit of time, so after first unit of time means after 1 unit of time. So that is, there is a product multiplied by 1. We since it is not required, we do not usually show the multiplication by 1. So this is R dash P actually multiplied by 1 divided by 100. So this is I1, the interest. And what is the amount? A1 is P by I1. A1 is P, that is the amount after the first unit of time is A1, which is P plus I1. And what will be the P1, that is the principal to be considered for calculation of interest for the next unit of time, that is P1, that will be actually A1. So then again we have after second unit of time, after second unit of time, let's say, so if u was 6 months, then after first unit of time means after 6 months. Now after second unit of time means we can say again after 6 months, that is 6 months after the calculation of I1 was done, that is calculation of first interest was done. So again after second unit of time, we will have to calculate the interest again. So at the end of, after every unit of time, we calculate the interest based on the current principal, and the principal is changing every time. So this time, if we the I2 is the interest after the second unit of time will be R dash. This time the current principal is P1 multiplied by 1 divided by 100, and the amount A2 will be the current principal, which is P1 plus I2, and P2 that is the principal to be considered for calculating interest after in the next unit of time, that is after the next unit of time will P2 is A2. So this is fundamentally how we calculate the compound interest. Now this this process will keep on. We have to keep on calculating the interests as long as we come to the end of period. That is, once we are at the end of T years, then the calculation of interest will stop. Now, okay. So, so this is the basic calculation. Now, what is R dash? How is R dash calculated? R dash will depend on U and R. Now, the formula for r dash is that r dash is equal to uh, r dash will equal to r multiplied by u by 12. So this is the formula for calculating R dash. Remember, in the calculation of the interest, as you can see in the flowchart diagram, I am using R dash, not R. And what is R dash? R dash will depend on the actual rate of interest per annum given in the problem, and U. U is the unit of time, which is normally given in months. Now, how this unit of time is given, I will discuss shortly. So assume that the U is unit of time which is given in months. So R dash will be U by 12, R multiplied by U by 12. So this is so basically R dash means since the rate of interest, original rate of interest is given per annum, which is for 1 year, then we are just calculating what will be the interest for U, which is in months. So how come this from where this formula is coming? This is coming from the very basic of unitary method. So R is the rate of interest per annum. So for 1 year, rate of interest is equal to R, which is given, or you can say it's better we write, since U will be in months, if we are considering U in months, so we have for 12 I mean short, for months I am writing short, I mean short writing M stands for months. For 12 months rate of interest is R. This implies for 1 month rate of interest is equal to R by 12. This implies for U months rate of interest will be equal to R by 12 multiplied by U. This is very fundamental concept of unitary method. So this is where the formula is coming that R dash is equal to R U by 12, where U is in months. Okay, so we know R dash. So from U R we will get R dash, and obviously P and T will be given. Okay. Now this process of that after every 1 unit of time we are calculating the interest. So how do we so obviously how many times then we have to calculate the interest. Let's how many times this calculation of interest will happen. So let's say if we consider, let's say let interest is calculated for n times. We can find n times. This will imply that n will be equal to the total time, which is T, which is also known as period of the loan or the calculation of the interest in months, which will be T into 12 divided by U. This is the total number of times we have to calculate the interest. For example, if T is 2 years and U is 6 months, so as an example, T is 2 and U is 6. U6 means 6 months. This will imply n, that is the number of times we have to calculate the interest, which is represented in the box by the box in the flowchart diagram. N will be equal to 2 multiplied by 12 divided by 6. This is equal to 4. So we have to calculate the interest 4 times to find the amount of the compound interest if time T is 2 years and the unit of time is 6 months. So this is so n will be the capital N is the number of times we have to calculate the interest. Now so let's say if I'm giving more examples. Let's say for if t is equal to 1 and u is equal to 6, so this implies n is equal to t multiplied by 12 divided by 6, which is 2. So for if t is 1, that is if the period of loan, or if the total time is 1 year, and the unit of time is given to be 6 months, then definitely how many times we have to calculate the interest? 2 times. So some other example could be, let's say t is equal to, let's say, uh, 1 year, let's say 1 point, uh, let's say 1 year 6 months, 1 year 6 months, and let's say u is 6. 6 means 6 months. So this will imply what will be n? What will be n? So 1 year, t is 1 year 6 months. If we convert this to months, it will be 12 plus 6, that is 18 months. That is 18 months. Now I have given the formula t multiplied by 12 divided by u. Now, so now t can be a fraction. So what is a 1 year? 1 year 6 months. What will be 1 year 6 months as in years? Which obviously will be a fraction. So this is a 1 plus 6 by 12 years. This is 1 plus 1 by 2 years. So this is 3 by 2 years. 1 year 6 months is 3 by 2 years. So n will be, t will be 3 by 2 multiplied by 2 divided by 6. This is equal to 3. So you can see the calculation of interest will happen 3 times. Since we are calculating the interest after every 6 months. Why? Because the unit of time u is 6 months. Okay. Now it may be the case that depending on that n will not come out to be an integer. Let's say t is, let's say t is 1, which is 1 year, and let's say u is, let's say 5, that is 5 months. So what will be n? What will be n? N will be t is 1, 1 year, so 1 into 12 divided by 5, which is equal to 12 by 5, which is equal to 2, and 2 by 5 number of times. Now what is actually n? N is actually denoting that n number of units of time. For n number of units of time, interest will be calculated. So as you can see in this flow diagram, after every unit of time, we are calculating the interest. So in a given problem, once we have found n, that will mean that we have to calculate the interest. We have to do the for computing the amount, or for calculating the amount or the total interest. We have to do the calculation of interest for n number of units of time. For n number of units of time. Now what if if n is 4, then we can say we have to do the calculation for 4 units of time, which basically means 4 times. Now if n is 2, is a fraction, is a mixed fraction, like 2 and 2 by 5th, this means that 2 and 2 by 5th basically means 2 plus 2 fifth. What will if n is 2 plus 2 by 5th, then what does it mean related to calculation of interest? This means that we will calculate the interest for 2 units of time, that is 2 times, plus 2 by 5th of a unit of time. So if n is equal to, let's say, 2 and 2 by 5th, this implies interest will be calculated uh, for 2 units of time, for 2 units of time, that is 2 units of times, and 2 by 5th of a unit of time. Now I really don't know whether I am able to explain this in a good way, whether it is understandable for you or not. So if n is an integer, let's say if n is turning out to be 1, that means that we are calculating the interest once, that is after 1 unit of time. Now if n is 2, then it means that we will have to calculate the interest 2 times, that is after 2 units of time. If you see the flow chart, uh, calculation of interest in the first box, it means that we have calculated the interest after 1 unit of time. Now when we have calculated interest after the second box, then we say that we have calculated the interest 2 times, which means we have calculated the interest for 2 units of time. Now when n is 2 and 2 by 5th, it means that we have calculated the interest for 2 units of time and for 2/5 of a unit of time, Now what does it actually mean by 2/5 of a unit of time? This, now to understand this, so okay, so instead of 2 and a 2/5 of time, let's try to understand the scenario where for whatever value of, let's say for some value of t and u, n is coming to be 1 and let's say 1 by 3. N is coming to be 1 and 1 by 3. For some value of t and u, n is coming to be 1 and 1 by 3. So now how will I know how many times that the interest is being calculated? Now 1 and 1 by 3 means 1 plus 1 by 3. This means that we will calculate the interest once for 1 unit of time, that is for 1 unit of time, and we will also calculate the interest for 1/3 of a unit of time. Okay, let's try to let's say n is coming to be 1 and 1 by 3, and let's say we are having mm, let's say we have let's say we are having the r percentage and the original principal is p, and we have t and also we have u for some value of t and u, and n is equal to, as we know, t multiplied by 12 by u. I hope this is the formula. Okay, let's say this is coming to be 1 and 1 by 3. So let's try to understand how many times the interest will be calculated and what will be. So this now the fact that n is a is not an integer, it is a fraction, it has a fractional part. This will make some effect in the calculation of interest. Okay, so let's try to understand this. We have original p, and since there is the number of the n is 1 and 1 by 3, that is 1 plus 1 by 3, the first one means 1 unit of time. So after first unit of time, we have the calculation of interest will be I1 equals to will be P R dash. Now obviously R dash will be equal to R dash will be equal to R multiplied uh, U by 12. I think R multiplied by U by 12. So R dash will be simply calculated from R and U, where U is in unit of time in months. Okay. So we have I1 will be PR dash PR dash multiplied by 1 by 100. As I already said in the beginning of the flow chart, that it is actually R dash P multiplied by 1 divided by 100. Why 1? Because we are calculating the interest after 1 unit of time. So in the second box also, in the calculation of I2 also, we are using multiplied by 1. Why 1? Because we are again calculating the interest after 1 complete unit of time. Now, so we have n is equal to 1 plus 1 by 3. So the 1 means 1 unit of time and 1 by 3 means 1/3 of a unit of time. So after 1 unit of time, the interest will be I1 equals to P R dash into 1 into 1. Why 1? Because this interest is being calculated after 1 complete unit of time. And we have A1 is equal to P plus I1 and P1 is equal to A1. Now how many units of time is how many units of time we have? We have 1/3 after. Now we have to see it will not be after second unit of time, but it will be after 1/3 of unit of time. I mean, so after 1/3 of unit of time. Now, if unit of time, let's say if the unit of time was 6 months, then the first calculation, the calculation of I1 is happening after 6 months, and the calculation of I2 is definitely is happening after 1/3 unit of time. Now, if unit of time is 6 months, then 1/3 of 6 months is 2 months. So definitely 2 months. So therefore, as you can see, the T must be 6 months plus 6 months plus 2 months, that is 8 months. 8 months. So so now the calculation of I2 will be R dash P, but not 1, because 1 we were multiplying 1 because we were calculating the interest after 1 complete unit of time, but this time we are calculating the interest after 1/3 of a unit of time. So there will be 1 by 3 and 100, and the rest will be the same. A2 is I2 plus P1, this will be P1, and P2 is equal to A2. I hope you understood why we are multiplying 1/3 with R dash P, why I2 is equal to R dash P1 multiplied by 1 by 3 divided by 100. 1 by 3 is coming from because we are calculating this interest I2 after 1/3 of a unit of time. Now actually what will be the 1/3 of unit of time? If unit of time is 6 months, then 1/3 of unit of time will be 2 months. So the first interest I1, if you be considered, if U is 6 months, then I1 is being calculated after 6 months. Now 6 months means 1 complete unit of time. So after first unit of time, or after 1 complete unit of time, or after 6 months, we are calculating the interest I1. Again, after 1/3 of unit of time, or after 2 months, we are calculating the interest I2. So that is the reason we are multiplying by instead of 1, we are multiplying by 1 by 3, because we are calculating I2 after 1/3 of unit of time. So whatever this fraction will be, in this case it is, if I have considered 1/3. If it was 2/3, then we would have multiplied 2/3 in the calculation of I2. Okay. So this is the scenario where the n was coming to be 1 and 1/3. Okay, let's say, let's take another example. Let's say for whatever, for some t and u, n is coming to be, let's say m is coming to be 2 and 3/5. 2 and 3/5. That is t multiplied by 12 divided by u is coming to be 2 and 3/5. So this is basically means 2 plus 3/5. This is 2 plus 3/5. Now this means, this actually means 2 units of 2 complete unit of time, 2 units of time plus 3/5 of unit of time. That is, how many times we will calculate the interest? We will calculate the interest 2 times, because the whole part is 2, plus 3/5 of a unit of time. Now, okay, so if n is 2 plus 3/5, let's see how the calculation of interest will work. So we start with P, and then after first unit of time, which means one complete unit of time, after first unit of time, we will calculate the first interest. I1 will be R dash P into 1, because we are calculating the interest after one complete unit of time, that is the first unit of time. By 100, we have A1 equals to P plus I1, and P1 is equal to A1. Now we will again have another complete unit of time, because the whole part is 2. 2 means n equals to 2 plus 3/5. The 2 represents 2 complete unit of time, and 3/5 represents 3/5 of a unit of time. So we will have after second unit of time, we have the second calculation of interest, which is I2. I2 will be, the current principal is P1, R dash, also multiplied by 1, because we are calculating the interest I2 after one complete unit of time, divided by 100. And if A2 is P1 plus I2, and P2 is A2. Now we have now after 3/5 of unit of time. This is not a complete unit of time, but after 3/5 of unit of time. Let's say if the unit of time, was 10 months. If the unit of time was 10 months, then so if the unit of time, if u is 10 months, then obviously after first unit of time will mean after 10 months. We calculated I1. Then again, once I1 is calculated, again after another 10 months, we are calculating the I2. But once I2 is calculated, then again after 3/5 of 10 months, which is 6 months. So after 6 months, we are calculating the third interest. So basically, since n is equal to 2 plus 3/5, we will have we will have uh, we will calculate the first interest after one complete unit of time. We will calculate the interest I2 after another complete unit of time. So that makes 2, and for the 3 by 5 fractional part, it means that we will compute the interest after 3/5 of a unit of time. Okay, now what will be the I3? Since I3 will be equal to the current principal, which is P2 R dash multiplied by 3 by 5. Why? Because we are calculating this interest I3 after 3/5 of a unit of time. So multiplied by 3 by 5 divided by 100. And as usual, A3 is equal to P2 plus I3, and P3 is equal to A3. I hope you understood how the calculation of interests are being done based on a given P, R, T, and U. So in the calculation of interest, in the calculation of compound interest or amount, the R dash, you are using R dash, not R. Now, for some cases, R dash will be equal to R. That is fine. But R dash is usually the formula is R into U divided by 12, where R is the given rate of interest per annum and U is the unit of time in months divided by 12. Now, the next question is, how do we know in a problem what is the unit of time? How do we know? I'm doing the discussion assuming that U is given in months, and I am saying that U is the unit of time. Why unit of time? Because in calculating compound interest, after every unit of time, we calculate the interest. Now, how do we know what will be U? Usually in a given problem, it is said that the interest is calculated. It is said that find the amount. Let's say find the amount on some. Let's say find the amount on rupees 5,000 at 12% rate of interest per annum for 2 years, compounded annually. So you will see this phrase, compounded annually, means implies that U is equal to 12 months. That is, after every 12 months, we will need to calculate the interest based on the current principal, and obviously the principal is changing after every unit of time. So if we see the phrase compounded annually, so this is how in the given problem it tells you after how many, what is the unit of time, or after how many months you need to calculate the interest. Compounded annually means after every 12 months you will calculate the interest, which means that U is equal to 12 months. Now if you have compounded half yearly, half yearly means half a year, that is U is equal to 6 months. Compounded, there are 3 standard unit of time used in a problem. Compounded quarterly means U is equal to 3 months. U equals to 3 months. Now it could be, instead of, these are the standard unit of time, annually, half yearly, and quarterly. Probably in all the problems that you will solve in your board exams or any other competitive examinations, you will only encounter with compounded annually, compounded half yearly, or compounded quarterly. But it could be, U could be any months, any number of months. It could be, say, compounded. It can be given that compounded every 7 months. This will imply that U is equal to 7 months. U is equal to 7 months. Okay. Uh, I think I will end the video here. I hope you have understood how the calculation of interest are being done step by step. So this is the very fundamentals of how compound interest are calculated step by step. This is a very detailed way of calculation. Now this is tedious. This is tedious, and hence the formulas have been derived so that you can directly use the formula to calculate the amount or compound interest. Now I thought that before using the formulas, it is necessary. Uh, it will be nice if you can understand how the formulas are have been derived. So if you understand this, if you understand this video, then it will be much more easier uh, to follow the next video, where I will try to, I don't know if I will be able to do it or not, I will try to derive how the formulas are coming. That is, you have some formula, you might already be knowing that the formula for amount for a principal P at the rate of interest R. So this is the formula for uh, PR. So this is the formula for let's say so this is the formula for uh, uh, amount where the original principal is P and the rate of interest per annum is R for T years. For T years, and the interest is being calculated or compounded annually. So this is the formula. So how this formula is coming, I will try to explain that in the next video. Now there are various cases of formulas. So different formulas work for different cases. I will describe each case in one video because if I try to explain all the cases, it will be a very long video. So per video, I will explain each case. So when now this is the formula when so this is the formula of amount based on the principal P and the rate of interest per annum R for a time period of T years, where the interest is compounded annually. Now what will be the formula if the interest is compounded half yearly? In that case, we will replace R by 2. So all these formulas, there are formulas, I will discuss them and how these formulas are coming. What is the step by step, I will try to derive the formulas so that you will get a better feel of how things are working inside or behind the scenes. So I hope I was able to explain how actually the compound interests how actually the compound interests are working step by step. That is at every uh, end of every unit of time, how we are calculating the interest, and for how many times we need to calculate the interest based on the unit of time, and the time period, that is capital T and U, and how we are calculating the R dash based on the R and the unit of time, and when and how and if the number of times we need to calculate the interest N, capital N, if it is not a integer, if it is a fraction, if it has a fractional part, like in the case of 2 and 2 by 5, then how many times we need to calculate the interest, or how the calculation of interest is changing as we are incorporating. Instead of PR dash multiplied by 1, we are replacing 1 with the fractional part, that is 2 by 5, not 3 by 5. So I don't know whether I was able to explain this properly or not, but I tried my best. So if this video was beneficial, then please like it, share it with your friends, And also please support me by subscribing to my channel, and do not forget to press the bell icon so that you will be notified by my future videos. In the next video, I will discuss about the I will in the subsequent videos I will discuss about all the cases of formulas, all the cases for which we have different formulas for calculating the amount on a given principal based on compound interest. So in those videos, I will explain. First, I will explain how the formulas are coming, how the formulas have been derived, and then I will solve few examples. So subsequent all these videos will be theoretical, even though I will illustrate the concepts with 2 or 3 problems. After this is done, then I will solve the exercise problems of the textbook of author R.S. Aggarwal. So that is all for this video. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, take care and bye.